Welcome to JC Chats, where we have engaging guests and conversations on various topics, all related to joyfully centered living and leadership. Today's guest is Lisa Hartsock, who's the Foundation Relation Executive with Valleywise Health System and also the Interim CEO of Valleywise Health Foundation. So, Lisa, thank you so much for being with us. I'm excited that you're here.
Thank you for having me. Look forward to talking with you.
Yeah, I'm excited for our conversation. Our topic today is really centered around how our environment impacts our healing. And Valleywise is knocking that out of the park. So I'm excited to talk about that. But before we get into that, Lisa, would you mind sharing with everybody a little bit about yourself? Anything you'd like to share with us, professionally, personally, anything you'd like to share, we'd love to hear.
Okay, sure. I am mom of one daughter who just turned 35, so not a little child anymore. And she's actually engaged. No date set yet, so we're excited about that. She's our only one. She lives here nearby me in the valley, so we get to see her often. And professionally, I've pretty much been in healthcare my whole life. I did have a wonderful stint at the Reagan Library as we did the major campaign and renovation of the whole museum, and it was so much fun. I loved it dearly, but when we moved to Phoenix, healthcare drew me back in, and so here I am at Valleywise Health.
Well, we're happy that you're back here. So some things just, people might not know. So Lisa and I met each other through International Women's Forum. We're both members of the Arizona Forum. And some of the things I love about Lisa is that she's very smart and fun to be around, definitely, and very collaborative. So I noticed you jump in and help with so many different things, Lisa. So I appreciate that so much about you. And again, appreciate that you're here with us on JC Chats.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so, we kind of talked about being in the hospital or having to visit the hospital doesn't really seem like it would be your typical joyful experience, right?
Right.
Um, but, I do have to say, care is something, so much care was given, I think, in the new opening of the medical center, right? You guys just opened a new state-of-the-art medical center in June, wasn't it?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, so I had the pleasure of visiting that, and I saw so many incredible things there of how you guys really were so thoughtful with being sure that you can infuse kind of that peacefulness and comfort for patients and families and the care teams, care providers as well. Do you want to tell us, kind of a little bit about that and just what are your thoughts on how important the environment would be for healing?
Oh, I think the environment really plays a huge part, because when you're not feeling well or you're anxious or family members are anxious about what's going on, you need at least environment to be secure and stable and orderly and quiet, because you don't need that extra chaos in your life. And so what happened with our planning was our clinicians were intimately involved with the architects in every aspect of the design. So why rooms would be situated near certain features of a unit or why they wouldn't be. You would think architects would know, all the ins and outs of where to locate everything, but you have your own specific way of providing care. And so their involvement over the months and months of the planning of it really made the difference. And then they even did simulated rooms where once the architects had the design, they did some fabricated rooms and had some of the clinicians actually, mock, procedures in those rooms so that they could really test out were they going to be, designed the way that they really needed them to be for the patients.
What a smart way to do that, to be able to test it out and have the clinicians actually involved in that
Exactly.
process because they're the ones that know the best, right? When they're actually
Right.
using all that. So how smart. So one of the things you shared with me on our tour is that you have every patient has an individual room, right? Which I
Yes.
think is so nice. I know that I've visited relatives in hospitals that were shared rooms, and that's a little bit challenging, right? So,
Right.
what are the things included with that individual room, and how have you felt that to be? beneficial.
Right. Well, we planned it so all the rooms, first off, are around the outside, the exterior of the building. So they all have natural light, which we feel is really important in healing, is being able to, open those shades and be able to look at the sky. And also just the light is just so wonderful. And then the calming colors, those were, very thoughtfully picked. And each has a bathroom. Again, the whole idea about shared is just, it's not conducive to either families visiting or the poor, patients that have to spend time, with others in the room that they don't know. So we do not have that. It's all individual rooms. They do have bathrooms. We also have recliner couches or, the actual fold down couches, because for several areas, especially like pediatrics, we want the parents to be able to feel comfortable in staying. And then we do have a few extra rooms where it is really like a little mini apartment, because we take care of burn patients, and oftentimes they're in our hospital for months and months. And this allows the parent or the family member to stay close, especially during those maybe those early hours, those early few days where things are a lot more tense than during their recovery time. So I do think that the clean lines, and again, they're spacious, so the rooms almost seem further apart from each other, so it is quieter. When I walk down the halls, I really am surprised how little I hear. And I've been in hospitals like you with family members, and you usually hear everything and all the beeps and everything, yet you really don't notice here in our new facility. So we're excited.
Yeah. Yeah, that is really great. I know, when it's shared space or even when you hear all those beeps like you were mentioning, you always wonder how can anyone get any rest, right?
Right,
Because
right.
of all of that and that. So that is such a great feature there. And tell us more, if you would, about the burn center. That is an extraordinary part of Valleywise there. So please tell us more about that.
It is. It serves the Southwest. So we get patients not only from Arizona, but New Mexico, and sometimes from Mexico itself, and others that may be traveling. And we're the second busiest burn center. But obviously, right now, since we just opened in June, we are the state of the art burn center. We have hyperbaric chambers for oxygenating the blood, that which helps in therapies, both for burn or wound care. We have a state-of-the-art facility gym that
Mhm.
patients can use, and then when they're discharged, they can come back and use it, just as you and I would use a wellness center. But I think the whole idea behind it was we have our burn center all on one floor, fourth floor of the new tower. Previously in our legacy building, it was spread out where we could find space, and that's not conducive for patients accessing it, for staff using it. And then again, just the spaciousness of the rooms and the procedure rooms. We have the longest physician training program in the Valley. And so can you imagine your tight, cramped quarters or shared space, and then you're trying to have physicians learn. They do their residency training here. And so, that uniqueness of having the burn center gives our surgical residents an experience they can't get at any other hospital in Arizona. And so we're pretty proud of it, but same thing. The rooms are all on the outside, all of the light. And then we like to do a lot of windows in places, because we want people, when they first come in, to see others that are further along in their recovery. And that way they know that there's a positive to their stay, and that they are going to get better and they are going to recover. So I think that was very thoughtful in the planning too. And again, the burn team, the burn clinicians, physicians, they were very involved with the architect. I was on several of those meetings, and I was teasing you a little bit, but they were asking where to put the light switches. And I know some of the burn surgeons were like, put the light switches, but it matters. All of it matters to be able to be conducive to your care delivery.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. and such a, such a great facility, that I got to see, for myself. So really cool there. Let's talk about the kiddos that come through, and what you guys do really to kind of help them through that experience, because it's a lot. It's a lot for anybody, right? When you're
Right.
having, different challenges medically and that. But for the kiddos, especially, I imagine there's, some definitely fear and uncertainty and all that kind of stuff that comes up as well. So tell us more about the kids that come through.
Of course. Well, first off, because of the space, we do encourage parents to be there often. But we also have playrooms, whether it be, young child or there's teen rooms, and we do not allow any procedures to be done in those rooms. Those are safe spaces so that their room is safe and the child, play areas are safe. There are other procedure rooms for, other things that we need to do medically, but we want them to feel safe in those areas. And then also we have other lounges or lobbies that help families to gather because, obviously sometimes you maybe don't want to be in the room the whole time or you need to have a discussion. So we have some small conference rooms that really help with some of those tough conversations or larger lobbies that look out at Camelback Mountain that can give you a break,
Sure.
away from the medical care side of it and allow you to just sort of meditate or like I said, just be by yourself for a little bit or away from the activity. And then the neat attribute I think are the child life specialists, and they're a certified group of individuals that have special skills that they keep the child either entertained, distracted, or informed of the procedure that's coming. And so it's a variety of techniques based on their age, of course. But we really couldn't do our pediatric care, whether it be burn or any other care for our pediatric patients without them. They're an integral part of the care model.
Yeah, that's great. And I just keep thinking back to my own experiences in hospitals and having that, like you said, being able to kind of take a break, especially if you've just received really hard news, about somebody that you really love and you're supporting, and you want to be there for them. And also, sometimes we, just as humans, we need to take a break and we need to be able to go to a space where we can just breathe, and it
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily feel so clinical and medical that, that just to have that kind of escape, I guess, for even a moment, right? To be able to look
Right,
out the window,
right,
at Camelback Mountain and that, and see
right.
that and take those breaths, and then be able to kind of gather ourselves to go back in and be with our loved ones. So I think that's a beautiful, touch that was thought through. What are some of the other? There were so many wonderful aspects. What are some of the other things that you guys offer there for patients, families, caregivers?
Most health systems offer a chaplain program. They either have maybe chaplains on staff or they have volunteer pastors and priests that come through. And it was fun, Heather, because this morning we dedicated, or we had our all faith chapel dedicated by the bishop this morning. And we have an adoration chapel, which is very unique, but we're a public health system, so we were able to get that approved decades ago. So not only is that wonderful there for the family or for the patients themselves, but it's very nice for our staff. And our staff works very hard. And during COVID, it was even more stressful because of the morbidity of that pandemic. But that allows our staff to also have a place to go to pray, to renew their faith, or just to, again, like you said, have a little bit of time to meditate away from the workplace. So I'm really proud of that program, and Chaplain Gail has been running that for decades. And other areas, on every floor, we have it's kind of a staff getaway room. There's one room on the floor, and it's not very big, but has a soft chair. And again, back to that, you just need a little bit of break. You can walk right down the hall. You don't have to go floors down and get away too far or too long, which allows you to kind of regroup or just take that few minutes. And then walking through the facility this morning reminded me our cafeteria is on the first floor. It's beautiful. It's got windows all on one side, and it's beautiful wood, even herringbone flooring, which I thought, wow, how fancy for us to be able to have that. But it really is so different from what we've had before. It was the cafe was in the basement, and people would get their food and quickly go back to their unit. But now you see people sitting there talking, um, enjoying their lunch, enjoying a coffee, leaving outside seating, which I think now that we are maybe officially out of summer, that will be more used. But again, back to that light and that the atmosphere and being able to be a little bit outdoor or even feel like you're outdoors with the windows, I think does a lot for your soul, a lot, during the day.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, that alone just, infuses us and brings that joy, or at least the centeredness, to us. Because, when we talk joyfully centered, we don't mean that every moment of every day we expect it's like, we yay, joy, and we're not, that's not realistic, right? We live real lives. We're humans, right? So,
Right.
and with that, we know that if we can get into these spaces, even during difficult times, we can find that center within us, to be able to create, it's at least if it's not joy, at least it's that centered space until we can get through what we're experiencing to get on the other side of that. And having great resources and great spaces like you guys have there is just so powerful. So just well done. And I did say we've talked about that with the cafeteria not being in the basement. I love that.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I appreciate a cafeteria at all if you're somewhere and you need some food, but having one where you can really, feel like you can connect and kind of refuel with that light and stuff is really nice too. So it's a definitely more serene environment. So I was going to ask you how the team, how the staff there feels about the new center, because you guys went from the legacy hospital, right, is
Mhm.
what you guys are calling the original, was there for over 50 years, right?
Right. It was built in the late 60s, opened up early 70, one, something like that. And it, I mean, we were due for a new facility years ago, but we're glad it's now. And I think, yeah, I think even with the physician training component, we want people to practice here. We want them to stay. We want them to, have a long career, whether it be with us or within, the Valley or Arizona. We have such a shortage of healthcare workers and physicians right now. So this really gives us that tool to really be the sought after organization that hopefully this presents to others when they're looking for, where they'd like to work and spend their time.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, we're getting closer to the end of our time together, so I just want to ask you a couple more things.
Okay.
Is there anything else you would like for the community to know about Valleywise, or any other ways that the community can be of assistance or involved? I know that we're located, for anybody that's listening, that might not be local to the Arizona area. We're talking about the campus here in Phoenix, Arizona. But what else would you like the community to know, or what else should we know about Valleywise?
I think we've done a great job over the last 4 or 5 years of elevating our foundation, which is our philanthropic arm of the organization. And people can get involved in so many different ways, whether it's volunteering their time or donating or being involved in an event. Those are all ways that any proceeds raised or any in-kind donations taken in, directly impact the care that we provide. And we serve predominantly Medicaid or uninsured patients, so they have greater needs, greater support needs. And so things like shoe drives, flip-flop drives in the summer, water drives. We've done backpacks for kids, made sure that they had all the essential items they needed to start school. So those are some fun things, but also the funding that has come in by the community support, whether it be individuals, foundations, or corporations, helped us add value to what we built. We were able to get the equipment that the providers wanted. We were able to outfit areas that maybe we didn't have funds for. And then always there's programs that don't have real reimbursement but are critical, to take care of our patients. And so That type of support is invaluable because as a public health system, we don't have a large reserve. We really just work each year to year and don't have that. And when we need a project of this scale done, we have to go to the voters with bond. So all of the philanthropic giving makes a very big difference to our providers and their teams.
And how would somebody learn about those opportunities? Are they on your website, or how could they find out more?
They are on the Valleywise Health Foundation website. I think you can get there also, through our main health system website, but definitely go Valleywise Health Foundation and there's a link, ways to get involved. We'd love it.
Great. Well, and we'll be sure to add that in the comment section as well with this video so everybody can get that information. So before we go, thank you. Our time together always goes by so fast on these JC chats. So, but before we go, I would love to hear what's bringing you joy these days, or how are you centering yourself when it gets a little tricky out there in the world?
Yeah, try not to overdo it during the week because work takes up a lot. But I'm a Pilates fan every day. I say it's like brushing my teeth. So to me, that's my 50 minutes that I give back to myself. And then of course, family and we love the theater and love to go out to eat. So Arizona is a great place for restaurants. So we have lots to do there. So that's the way we keep ourselves recharged.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love Pilates too. We'll have to go to a class sometime.
Okay, that
It's
sounds
so much
great.
fun. It is a good release. So very good. Well, again, Lisa, thank you so much for being with us today. And I just want to say again, thank you for all that you do for the health system and also for the Health Foundation. You do so much, and all of us in the community appreciate it and appreciate you. So thank
Oh,
you.
thank you, Heather. Thanks for having me. This was nice to talk.
Yeah, well, just going to say goodbye, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, and go out there and keep joyfully centering throughout your days, and we'll see you next time.